Now we're going to move on to looking at supporting transitions between settings. So we're going to be looking at the different stakeholders, the different people involved, the issues of transition into school from early years foundation settings, primary into secondary, and examples of key issues and practical support, and the additional needs of children with SEN and those making in-year transfers, and the whole development of practical strategies. We can think about the strategies we're using within school to manage transitions within the school day. In many ways, those are the same strategies is large that we're going to use for supporting transition between settings. I think we need to be really clear when we're looking at supporting children with early years transition. Much of our support needs to be focused on the needs and the experience of the parents, because the parents are going to support that transition. We need to understand what are the parents' worries, what are their experiences of school, of change that may feed into how they respond to children. When we get to secondary transition, the focus is on the experience and needs of the child, but we still have that parental role, and they need to be supporting both. But in both cases, we need to be developing independence and the building independence of the parents and the children. For children coming into school for the first time, there is a huge jump from a nursery setting with the kind of regular contact, handover, often bits of video sent home during the day of what the child is doing and the level of communication. And again, moving into secondary, there was a huge jump from the parent from dealing with usually one, maybe 2 or 3 class teachers to dealing with a whole range of staff in a big building, to a classroom where you often have contact on the daily contact on the school, at the classroom door, at the school gate, to putting a child often onto a bus, and then going away and you having not even knowing what the teacher looks like. So there's that change and concern for the parents, which automatically feed in to how the children feel. We need to support the parent to feel confident with the transition between settings in order that the child feels confident. We need that everything, the work of the parents, the new setting and the previous setting, to be working together to support the child. And where there is anxiety in any of those 3 places, the child will feel it and the child is being asked to manage it. And it's really important that schools meet new parents and carers. And that includes within year transitions. We need to be really clear that though parents have a chance to see us as much as possible. And I'll talk about ways of doing that. I think the other big thing is for parents, they will start the transition process almost a year ahead. They need to make choices in the autumn, a year before their child makes the transition. They will get the new setting in the spring. And for them, they are looking at a child who is a year, 6 months, 3 months younger than they will be when they actually go into that new setting. It's very difficult for parents to imagine their child different than how they see them at that moment in time, and certainly to project what they will be like as they mature and develop. And we need to be really clear with parents and carers that children change and will mature over the summer, and they will change from the time the choice of setting is made to the time they're able to actually make that move. And there are a lot of children who would not at 3 be ready to deal with a school day, but will be by the time they're 4. Equally, a child at the beginning of year 6 will be very different to the same child at the beginning of year 7. So to support that, we need clear lines of communication, and they take time. And there will some parents who will take a large quantity of time, but we need to support that. We need to work with parents on what they need to ask and give them a space to share concerns. I think certainly for transition into school, home visits, to make that contact between home and school are absolutely key. And think about children and parents who don't speak English. They don't have the experience of the British school system. Think about your signs, think about your translation apps, the amazing resources from the Bell Foundation. If you don't know them, go look them up. And think about support from the home communities to build the confidence, understanding for parents and children about the expectation in the setting, what school looks like. For many parents who don't come from the UK, we start children in school very early, but they are also the fact we do not start children immediately sat at desks. What does school look like? What are they going to be doing? And so the more parents are confident with what their child is going to be doing, what are the expectations, the more they can be confident, the more the child is going to be confident. Really key working with parents. That information sharing. And I think there's information sharing from the parents, those sheets we fill in before children go into school, all about me, filled in by the parent, building a one-page profile. What does the parent want to tell us about the child? What does the previous setting want to tell us? So we're sharing the information and also checking what the new setting needs to know. Have we shared the right information? Things like allergies. I still go back to the experience of a parent who rang the day before a child started school and said, do you need to know they have an artificial leg? Yep, that was kind of helpful. What are the implications of this? What support do we need to put in for this child? It had not been clear when the child came for a transition day. So we need to know, think what do they need to know, particularly medical, particularly SEN information, but also about recent family experiences, bereavements, house moves, births of siblings, what else is going on for this child, and that communication. Make sure that school records are forwarded from the previous school and they highlight immediate well-being and learning needs so that that comes clear. And I would really suggest that for all children, there is an advanced conversation. Any child under the remit of the SENCOs talk before the child moves to school. Any child who is on the DSL's radar is also, the discussions are held. So there's a continuity of care. But equally, we need the information from the school or previous setting and from the parent. And nurseries, schools need to value the information from nurseries. I would actually recommend the school goes and visits the nursery to see the child in their setting, and the child sees that adult who will meet in school in nursery.